All right, good evening, good evening. What's going on, good peeps? What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing tonight? Hopefully everybody doing fine. And hopefully everybody can hear me. Um you in the bed and you can hear the sound of my voice. Let me know you can hear me. All right, we get this started. I'm gonna make this real quick. One of the updates I've been waiting on. So it's probably gonna be slow with y'all getting in because I ain't really just do no sharing. But yeah, any one of you who can hear my voice, let me know you can hear me. You say you can hear me loud and clear? All right. all right. Whatever y'all be so kindly, for those of you who are here, hit that thumbs up for your boy. And whoever coming to watch this later, hit the thumbs up for your boy as well. I really appreciate you. But anyway, we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna skip the intro. We're gonna dive right into it. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't got my camera on. Y'all don't need to see me right now because sleep as hell. One, y'all need to see how I'm looking right now. I look crazy right now. Looking real crazy. But long, as long as you can hear me though, that's all that matters. All right, guys. So for those of you who've been following this story or who has followed me doing this story, y'all know what time it is. We have another update. All right. This is a story about the 6-year-old who shot his teacher. The teacher name was Abby Zerner or something like that. Abby Zerner. All right. And this is the mother of the 6-year-old, which they still haven't released the 6-year-old name yet. I don't believe they have. In which, considering his age, they probably not going to release his name. Okay. So anyway, we know for those who've been following this story, we know the meat and potatoes of it. The boy got a hold of his mama gun and took the gun to school. The teacher was unaware and she got hit. She survived, but she did get hit by the 6-year-old. And then what we learned that Deja here, was just full of drugs, weed, and all type of shit she was taking. So she was just high as fuck and wasn't paying attention to what was going on. Okay. And then I did one live where they did an interview with her where it seemed like the attorney really didn't know what was going on. He was just solely going by what she was telling him, which I guess that's what attorneys do. If they supposed to be defending you, they go by what we telling them or whatnot. So, and she said in the interview, the lady asked her something about, about her taking a charge for her son. And, she said, that's my son. I do anything for my son. And I said, you know what? I really don't believe her when she said that, And I remember I said, if she could let that boy take the fall for this, I believe she would let that boy get charged. And a lot of you felt the same way. And I still feel that way today, that if they could have charged the 6-year-old, I believe she would let that boy get charged. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. She would let him get charged because she don't seem like the type of woman that just take that fall for her son. She want to be free and still do what the hell she want to do. At least that's just judge the book by its cover. But I don't know. But again, still, if she could let that boy take the fall for it, I believe she would have let that boy take the fall for it. All right, but the DA couldn't do nothing with him because he's number 6-year-old. So she didn't have no choice but to take the charge. or what happened with her son. Okay? So now she has pleaded guilty and she's getting 2 years in jail for state child neglect. State child neglect. Now, I don't know what's the difference between child neglect and state child neglect, or if they both the same thing. I don't know. I told y'all I'm ignorant to the law, so I'm not sure exactly if there is a difference in that. But they specifically said state child neglect. State child neglect. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, let's let y'all hear it.
And breaking tonight, the mother of the Richneck Elementary School shooter will spend 2 years in state prison. Today, a judge called Deja Taylor's actions egregious after she was found guilty of felony child neglect.
Emily Harrison was there when the judge handed down the sentence. She is live now. And Emily,
okay, by them saying that little bit right there, I really want to know, are they, when they say her action was egregious, are they talking about, with the drugs and shit she was dealing with, or the fact that the boy got the gun, or are they talking about both? I don't know. Y'all hit me out in the chat room. What you think?
this decision goes well beyond the sentencing guidelines.
That's exactly going to be the case. A Newport News judge sentenced Deja Taylor to a total of 5 years, 2 of which she will spend in state prison, and the other 3 years are suspended at this time. The judge told the courtroom he could not follow the sentencing guidelines of 0 to 6 months because, quote, these guidelines do not take all the facts and history of this case into account. Deja Taylor stood stone still as the judge handed down the sentence.
Oh, look at this fool face. So does that mean she actually still got a break? Because she actually got 5 years, but they dropped 3 years. So did she still get a break?
The judge said he could not follow the sentencing guidelines of 0 to 6 months because, quote, this is significantly more serious than lying on a form. Child neglect is the most serious crime, the most serious charge. Taylor's attorney, James Ellenson, says he is disappointed with the decision.
We think it was excessive. I think there are guidelines for a reason, and I think the guidelines were adequate in this case, and I just respectfully disagree with Judge Papil.
Right now, Taylor is serving 21 months for 2 federal charges because she lied on her gun registration and will now serve this 2-year prison sentence consecutively to it. When handing down the sentence, the judge also questioned Taylor's remorse. He pointed to public statements Taylor has made about her son's frustration with his teacher, Abby Warner, and Taylor's, quote, misleading statements about where she kept the gun in her home. Ellenson says an appeal is possible, as he says Taylor's statements should not have been a factor.
There's a couple of things from a legal perspective. I don't know that he could even take that into account because that was not evidence that was presented in court today. So I think the judge is looking.
He was frustrated with his teacher, but for what? What was he frustrated about? Y'all leaving in details out. What was he frustrated about?
Outside of what evidence had been introduced in court.
Teacher Abby Warner did not have a comment walking out of Newport News Circuit Court following the sentencing, but she read a victim impact statement on the stand. She told the judge, quote, this never would have happened to me if not for the defendant's actions or lack thereof. Now, while Taylor is going to be serving her time in prison, there is still a protective order between her and her son. She is still able to have supervised visits with her son, but she cannot have any criminal or offensive behavior in front of him, and it is entirely up to the discretion of the child's guardian, which is going to be Calvin Taylor, who is Deja Taylor's grandfather. In Newport News, I'm Emily Harrison, 13 News Now.
Okay, Emily, thanks. And following Taylor's release from prison, she will have 2 years probation. She'll be required to undergo a psychological evaluation, counseling to overcome drug addiction, and she'll have to take parenting classes.
Jesus, wow. The things that people put themselves through. This is what I be saying. This is one of them situations that it sound like to me with Deja. It's always somebody or someone else's, someone or something else fault. It is not her fault. Okay? She's one of them types. It's not her fault. It's somebody else's fault or something else's fault, okay? All right, so now here we are. She got 3 years knocked off, okay, because wherever these guidelines they talking about. I guess her lawyer wanted her to get to 0 to 6 months. I didn't think she would get no 0 months. 6 months could have been a possibility, but no, they say no, we gonna throw you in there for 2 years. Then when you get out, you're gonna have 2-year probation. Then you're gonna have to take drug classes, and then you gotta take all this, which I think at this point, that should be fair because I mean, me personally, for what it sounds like, this is me personally. Y'all tell me in the chat room, you there they got a slap on the wrist. That wouldn't sound like to me now. You got a slap on the wrist. Okay? And when you get out, and you probably not even do the whole 2 years, they say there's a possibility you can appeal. I mean, it look like you skating by. You down there skating by. Am I right? You sound like to me she down there skating by. Wow. So little boys with the granddaddy. She got stiff restriction when it comes to parole. So the granddaddy is going to be the guardian of him. Abby says, hey, this wouldn't have happened. Pretty much if Deja was doing her job. I mean, you can't disagree with that, but Deja wasn't able to perform her job because she was worrying about whatever the hell she was smoking and popping, popping pills or whatnot, And then let's not forget, I forgot to bring this up too. Y'all remember they had a program in place where Deja or the granddaddy was supposed to go to school with the boy every day until they stopped the program, When they felt like he was okay to go there by himself, that's when they supposed to have did it. But for some reason, this one particular day or this one particular week, they did not go with him to the school, and this is what happened, okay? And I'm thinking this probably played part of her sentencing because, y'all stopped this program when y'all wasn't supposed to stop it, or let alone she wasn't supposed to stop it at the time. I mean, from my understanding, I had to go back and do some of my old research on this story, so I'm pretty much sure they played a part in it as well, okay? So I would like to hear the statement that she wrote. I would love to hear that. Maybe I can find it somewhere in the court document somewhere on the statement that she read. As a matter of fact, speaking of which, hold on, I might not need that. Let me see. Even though Taylor did not pull the trigger, a judge ruled she is liable for the reckless decisions that led to the shooting. Following the shooting, they left her son's teacher, Abby, in the hospital for weeks. Investigators found an ounce of marijuana in Taylor's bedroom and evidence of frequent drug use in her text messages. While having a certain amount of marijuana is legal in Virginia, Taylor lied about her drug use on her gun registration. Okay. Oh, I forgot. She lied to get that gun. I forgot about that too. Let's see here. The decision to keep drugs and gun in her home while also being aware of her son's behavior issues at school makes her liable for felony child neglect, according to the ruling of the judge. The judge also questioned how remorseful Taylor is. He pointed to Taylor's public statement about her son's frustration with his teacher, who he later shot. Abby, he also said Taylor was not forthright in telling investigators where she kept her gun and offered misleading statements, which I think we heard when I played that interview she did with the attorney and whoever the news person it was at the time. It sounded like she wasn't being truthful about that part about the gun, because I told her that was the $1 million question. How did he get the gun? And to this day, I don't think they ever said how he got the gun. But again, I had to go back and do some more research and see how they brought that out. Or maybe it's up in this what I'm reading right now. He also said Taylor was not for right in telling investigators where she kept her gun and offering misleading statements. James Ellison, Taylor's attorney, said an appeal is possible. There's a couple of things from a legal perspective I don't even know that we can even take that into account, said Ellison, referring to Taylor's public statements. There was not evidence that was presented in court today, so I think the judge is looking outside of what evidence had been introduced. What the hell? Hold on, I just got distracted by something. Never mind, I'll look at that later. There was not evidence that was presented in court today, so I think the judge is looking outside of what evidence had been introduced to court in making his decision. Taylor has a protective order in place with her son and will be allowed to see him in supervised visits with the child's guardian. Once released, Taylor will be placed on probation for 2 years. She's required to undergo a psychological evaluation, counseling for drug addiction, and parenting classes. So, but it's not saying what public statement she made. Okay, I'm curious about that. What was her public statement? I am really curious about that. What did she say? Okay, so apparently this don't have what she supposed to have said. So, but trust me, I'm gonna stick on this. They gonna release it sometime soon. Probably gonna release her statements of what she said. But in a nutshell, this is a young woman. Again, I told y'all these people are young. These people are young that's doing this stuff. What up, Daniel? I'm still gonna come on and fix your alternator, man. Yeah, again, another young mother, reckless, cared about drugs. All right, more than her own child. More like she probably was staying with her granddaddy. And granddaddy probably did try to talk sense into it, talk about she need to get up and get her shit together. But y'all know with some people like her, telling her to get her shit together is almost like telling her don't do it. Because they're going to do the total opposite of what you told them. All right? All right? So now we understand where the boy probably got his little issues was from her. All right? Because she probably was dealing with it too. All right? Sometimes some people like Deja, you could try to talk to them till you turn blue in the face. That shit going to go in one ear and going to come out the other until something like this happens. Now, when she get out, hopefully she'll turn a new leaf and get herself together. All right? At least I pray that she do for that boy. And hopefully this will be a learning lesson for her and that boy. All right? Because granddad ain't done been on here. He done his job. It's really not his responsibility to take care of you or your son. That's you. That's you, dear. All right? And here we are again, another story where the dad at. The dad ain't came out and said nothing. What's going on? Is he still living? Did he not want anything to do with this boy because of his behavior issues? Who knows? This is one time I would think we'd like to hear from the dad and let him tell us about the boy. Or better yet, let him tell us about his relationship with Deja. How was it? Was it bad? Did she stay out all night because she was strung out on that shit? I mean, what the hell? I am curious to know all that, but we'll just see what happens. But again, I do pray, wishing nothing bad on her. I do pray when she get out, she'll see this and be like, hey, I fucked up. So hopefully she'll get out and see this and be like, you know what? We gonna do better. I'm gonna do better as your mom, and I'm gonna help you do better as my son, because we're not finna go through this again. I'm gonna be more responsible, and I want to teach you to be responsible. All right? I will hope that's what she do when she get out. But we'll just see. Amen. He said, you think it's alternate? Yeah, so we'll just see. So how y'all feel about 2 years? Because again, they said originally she was going to get 5. But they dropped 3 of them. And I'm not the sharpest knife in the bunch when it comes to this law shit, but it sounds like to me, all the stuff that they putting on her, it sounds like to me she's still kind of getting a slap on the wrist. Okay? It sounds like she's still pretty much getting a slap on the wrist. All right? So, do y'all think she should have got the 5 years, or what do y'all think about that? For those of you who are listening now and those of you who are going to be listening later on, I'd like to know what y'all think about this, you know. This is sad all around. All around. It's sad all around. Luckily, nobody lost their life, but still, the story just sad, period, of the events that took place, period. All right? All right? All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play this for y'all one more time. And that'll be it for tonight. All right. Oh, I got one more update to do, but I'll probably do a regular video on that. Y'all know that boy who killed his mom is an update that came out on that as well. So I'll be doing that as well. But I'll play this one more time, and that'll be it for this story. Hit that thumbs up for your boy. Appreciate you.
And breaking tonight, the mother of the Richneck Elementary School shooter will spend 2 years in state prison. Today, a judge called Deja Taylor's actions egregious after she was found guilty of felony child neglect.
Emily Harrison was there when the judge handed down the sentence. She is live now. And Emily, this is...
No, I don't think she had any priors. Not from what I looked up. I don't think she had no priors.
Decision goes well beyond the sentencing guidelines.
That's exactly going to be the case. A Newport News judge sentenced Deja Taylor to a total of 5 years, 2 of which she will spend in state prison. And the other 3 years are suspended at this time. The judge told the courtroom he could not follow the sentencing guidelines of 0 to 6 months because, quote, these guidelines do not take all the facts and history of this case into account. Deja Taylor stood stone still as the judge handed down the sentence. The judge said he could not follow the sentencing guidelines of 0 to 6 months because, quote, this is significantly more serious than lying on a form. Child neglect is the most serious crime, the most serious charge. Taylor's attorney, James Ellenson, says he is disappointed with the decision.
We think it was excessive. I think there are guidelines for a reason. And I think the guidelines were adequate in this case, and I just respectfully disagree with Judge Papil.
Right now, Taylor is serving 21 months for 2 federal charges because she lied on her gun registration and will now serve this 2-year prison sentence consecutively to it. When handing down the sentence, the judge also questioned Taylor's remorse. He pointed to public statements Taylor has made about her son's frustration with his teacher, Abby Warner, and Taylor's, quote, misleading statements about where she kept the gun in her home. Ellenson says an appeal is possible, as he says Taylor's statements should not have been a factor.
There's a couple of things from a legal perspective. I don't know that he could even take that into account because that was not evidence that was presented in court today. So I think the judge is looking outside of what evidence had been introduced in court.
Teacher Abby Warner did not have a comment walking out of Newport News Circuit Court following the sentencing, but she read a victim impact statement on the stand. She told the judge, quote, this never would have happened to me if not for the defendant's actions or lack thereof. Now, while Taylor is going to be serving her time in prison, there is still a protective order between her and her son. She is still able to have supervised visits with her son, but she cannot have any criminal or offensive behavior in front of him, and it is entirely up to the discretion of the child's guardian, which is going to be Calvin Taylor, who is Deja Taylor's grandfather. In Newport News, I'm Emily Harrison, 13 News Now.
Okay, Emily, thanks. And following Taylor's release from prison, she will have 2 years probation. She'll be required to undergo a psychological evaluation, counseling to overcome drug addiction, and she'll have to take parenting classes.
And again, I say this, I pray that she go through all of that to get herself straight. And if not for herself, at least for that boy, because next time he pull a gun on somebody, it could be the last time that he do it. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this last thing right here. They talk about her remorse. I'm looking at this woman's face every time she walks out, and her face is just blank. Her face is blank. It's like she's not even there. It's like her spirit and her soul is not even in her body. If y'all just pay attention to how that woman look when she walks out, it's the same look every time she walk out that place or walking, period. Even when she's talking, when she did the interview, it's like she's not there. She's not. And that could be some scary shit. All right? That blank look she got, I mean, it's just like her body and soul just separated. Her mind is gone, and she don't know where to go find it at. So if I was to judge a book by the cover and looking at her how she walking out of the courtroom and that look she got on her face, I would say no, she's not remorseful. But then again, you can say this too. How can somebody be remorseful if they feel like it's not their fault? And that's probably how she feel like it's not her fault. So if it's not her fault, she's probably not going to be remorseful. All right? That's my final thoughts on that. All right? Anyway, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll see y'all next time. Oh, and Tammy, the reason you ain't seen me there because of work. That's all, you know. Oh, man. Work. So I just had to get to y'all when I get to y'all. It's a lot of shit that been coming my way. So I just get to y'all when I get to y'all. But I'm glad y'all are here tonight. All right, guys. Y'all be safe out there.